The bride decided to steal $650 from each bridesmaid under the pretext of paying for a bachelorette party at home. I long for the times when bridesmaids were seen as individuals rather than mere accessories to the wedding decor. Currently, I find myself in the role of a bridesmaid for my soon-to-be sister-in-law's wedding, a position that seemed inevitable. Unfortunately, she took it upon herself to select our dresses without consulting us, choosing a design that is entirely unsuitable for my body type. The chosen dress features a strapless, backless design with a halter neck and a thigh-high slit. Given my fuller figure and triple D chest size, such styles are impractical for me as they offer no opportunity for supportive undergarments. Backless designs eliminate the possibility of a supportive bra, and the options for shapewear are severely limited. Attempting to wear the dress only highlighted these issues, with my chest uncomfortably exposed and the dress failing to accommodate my body shape in any flattering way. I felt compelled to express my concerns to the bride, explaining that my body type is distinctly different from the other bridesmaids, and that wearing this dress would not only make me feel uncomfortable, but would also look inappropriate. I even suggested modest modifications to make the dress more suitable, yet she insisted on uniformity for the sake of wedding photos, advising me to simply be more confident. It's not a matter of lacking confidence. There are many styles that complement my figure beautifully, but this particular dress does not cater to larger body types. The thought of withdrawing from the wedding has crossed my mind, but family pressures to maintain appearances for the sake of my sister-in-law and familial relations have made that decision difficult. The idea of parading in front of friends, family, and acquaintances in an outfit that makes me feel exposed and uncomfortable is disheartening. This situation underscores a crucial point. Brides should prioritize the comfort and individuality of their bridesmaids. After all, we are human beings deserving of respect and consideration, not just elements of wedding aesthetics. Before an interesting update, I will respond to your comment, commentator. Was it not possible for her to accompany her bridesmaids on a shopping trip to try on the dresses? It seems like this simple solution could have resolved all the issues at hand. My answer? No, she made the decision online without consulting any of the bridesmaids. Some of the other bridesmaids were slightly annoyed as they would have appreciated having a voice in choosing the dress. However, no one confronted her directly about their dissatisfaction. Considering the small size of the group, I'm confident that they will be fine with the dress even if it wasn't their top preference. Update. With that said, I've chosen to remain part of the wedding to keep my mother at peace. However, I've also decided to absolutely rock this dress and ensure that all eyes are on me rather than the beautiful bride. After attempting to address the situation with dignity and grace only to be rebuffed, I believe I've more than earned my right to a bit of pettiness. I plan to invest in some very specific shapewear that will invisibly enhance my figure beneath the scant fabric of the dress. A huge thank you to everyone who offered recommendations. I'm going all out with side boob, adding extra sparkle to the back, and applying a glossy sheen to my legs to accentuate the thigh-high slit. My hair will be styled in an elegant updo to ensure it doesn't detract from the dress's impact. While I'll be modestly covered with a shawl for most of the event, rest assured that during the ceremony, I'll channel my inner Salma Hayek from dusk till dawn. Let's see how she feels about the body confidence she encouraged me to embrace. For those interested, I'll likely return in May to share my photos. About 6 months ago, my sister-in-law planned her destination bachelorette party and informed each of the 11 attendees that we needed to contribute $650 for the Airbnb accommodation. Despite feeling that the cost was exorbitant, I prioritized family harmony and paid the amount. My curiosity piqued. I verified the Airbnb listing and found that the price matched up with a luxurious $2,300 per night beachfront property she had chosen. However, a recent conversation with my brother, who is engaged to her, revealed an unexpected twist. He mentioned how fortunate it was that her father covered the Airbnb cost, a statement that took me by surprise since all of us had already paid our shares. My brother's reaction suggested he was unaware of this discrepancy. This situation is particularly disheartening considering that when I got married, I went to great lengths to support her by covering her travel, accommodation, attire, and other expenses during a difficult time in her life. The thought that she might be exploiting our contributions for personal gain is troubling. Given the complexity of the situation, including the possibility that her father reimbursed the costs after we had paid, I am torn between exposing this issue to the other bridesmaids or keeping silent to avoid potential embarrassment for my brother. The dilemma is whether to seek clarity and possibly rectify the situation, or to prioritize family relations and let it go, all while not fully understanding her intentions or the sequence of events. Yes, I concur with the majority who believe I have a moral obligation to disclose the truth, given that $650 is a significant amount. Here's my plan of action. Firstly, I will have a conversation with my brother to allow him an opportunity to address the situation with my sister-in-law. Before escalating the matter, it's crucial to grasp the full context. For instance, it's possible her father did cover the cost, but she allocated those funds towards another wedding-related expense. The clarity on this matter will guide my decision on when and how to inform the other bridesmaids. I intend to give my brother a brief window of 2 days to respond, considering the trip is imminent next week. After reconvening with my brother, my mother took the initiative to bypass him and directly obtained additional details from her future son-in-law's father. Here's the scoop. It turns out the father of my future sister-in-law did not agree to cover the trip expenses until a few months after we had all made our payments. His decision came upon discovering the extravagant cost of $2,300 per night for the accommodation, which frustrated him given that he was unaware of the high price point and the financial burden it imposed on us. He even went as far as threatening to withhold payment for the wedding if his daughter continued to impose additional financial burdens on the wedding party. It was revealed that she had initially desired a wedding in the Maldives, a plan her father outright rejected. My mother, after speaking directly with him, learned that he felt embarrassed upon learning about the Airbnb's cost and sought to mend his reputation with our family by offering around $7,000 to cover the lodging expense. This money was intended for my sister-in-law to reimburse us, yet, evidently, that reimbursement never occurred. The plot thickens as my mother, adopting a detective-like diligence, discovered that not only did my sister-in-law fail to refund us, but she also did not allocate the funds towards another wedding expense. The burning question now is, where did the money go? What was it spent on? This has sparked a full-scale investigation between our families. At my mother's request, I've been advised to hold off on informing the bridesmaids until we gather all necessary information and reach a resolution with both my sister-in-law and her father. Rest assured, we plan to disclose everything to them as soon as possible, one way or another. The drama continues to escalate. Amidst the unfolding chaos, the maid of honor, oblivious to the situation, diligently carries on with her responsibilities. We were all taken aback when we received a detailed 4-paragraph message from her, relaying the bride's specific dress code requirements for each evening of the bachelorette party. The bride's demands were extravagant, expecting us to purchase new outfits for every night with themes that were nothing short of extravagant. Animal print Thursday, faux fur Friday, sparkle dress Saturday, and Barbie brunch Sunday. The idea that we would rush out to buy these themed outfits just a week before the trip was ludicrous. Fortunately, it seems the bridesmaids are beginning to see through the facade. Several responded, indicating their inability to meet these outfit demands on such short notice, with one plainly stating it was an impossibility. However, this is merely a subplot in the larger saga that's unfolding. My mother has now taken a front seat in this drama, especially since she has invested a significant amount into the wedding herself. She is appalled by the bride's reckless spending of thousands of dollars from her father and her deceit towards the bridal party. In a decisive move, she arranged a direct meeting with my sister-in-law to address the ongoing issues and cut through the deceit. She made it clear that she would personally inform the bridesmaids unless she received a satisfactory explanation. As for me, I'm eagerly watching as the events unfold, popcorn in hand, ready for the next twist in this saga. At last, the veil has been lifted on the mystery of the missing $7,000. It was revealed that she allocated the funds towards a lavish, swan-shaped ice sculpture for the reception, a detail she kept under wraps. Her father had previously put a stop to any further extras being added to the already extravagant wedding, deeming them costly and unnecessary. When her father transferred money to her for the Airbnb, she saw an opportunity to divert the funds for her own plans, unbeknownst to anyone else. Even my brother was in the dark about this maneuver. He only discovered his father had agreed to cover the Airbnb expenses during a casual outing for cigars. Thanks to some diligent investigation by my makeshift detective squad, this part of the puzzle has been pieced together. However, pressing questions still loom large. Where is my $650, and how do we break this news to the bridesmaids? In an act of sheer generosity, my mother has given my sister-in-law a 24-hour ultimatum to come clean to the bridesmaids and devise a plan to reimburse our contributions. The fact of the matter is, I did not part with $650 for an ephemeral piece of ice. I have children to provide for and bills that need paying. It's taking every ounce of self-control not to immediately inform the bridesmaid group myself, but my mother insists on offering my sister-in-law one final chance to rectify the situation honorably. All right, here's the latest and piping hot update, fully detailed for you. Let's dive into the bride's tearful explanation to her family, which includes me, my mom, her fiancé, my brother, and her dad. She was overwhelmed by the wedding planning, feeling immense pressure to host the perfect event, which apparently hinged on having a particular ice swan. Personally, I wasn't swayed by her emotional display. After everything, I see her as a delusional, controlling bridezilla obsessed with outshining others on Instagram, especially considering her job as an influencer. My brother, bless him, fell for it. I can't really fault him. She's his future wife, and he's committed to supporting her mental health and well-being despite being shaken by the ordeal. For those wondering, yes, the wedding is still happening. Now, regarding the missing $7K and our chances of seeing that money again, it looks bleak. Her father made it clear he paid the Airbnb fee once and won't do it again. He believes his 31-year-old daughter should resolve her own financial mess. My brother also refused to cover her mistake. While I appreciate the push for her to take responsibility, I'd much prefer getting my money back. Sadly, that seems unlikely unless a miracle happens. Legally, there's not much we can do. We all agreed to pay a fixed amount voluntarily, and pursuing legal action would be costly and challenging without solid proof of wrongdoing. As for the bridesmaids, after some pressure from my mom, my sister-in-law finally addressed them in our group chat with a message that was hard to stomach. She casually mentioned her dad's offer to pay for our accommodations had been redirected towards a wedding expense, hoping for our understanding. I couldn't stay silent and clarified that the expense was an ice sculpture, a swan, no less. The bridesmaids were understandably upset, having preferred to spend their $650 on something more meaningful. Yet no one has dropped out. A separate chat without the bride discussed the slim chances of getting our money back due to the proximity of the event and our ineligibility for a refund. Despite the frustration, it seems we're going ahead with the bachelorette party to avoid wasting our contributions. As for me, I'm torn. The idea of attending is less than appealing, but losing $650 isn't an option either. If I do go, it'll be in protest. I'll skip the planned activities and outfits and won't spend a penny more. I'll try to enjoy a mini vacation on my terms. It's disheartening to think she might still get her way after all this chaos. The conversation in our bridesmaid exclusive chat led to a unanimous decision on how we're proceeding, Sans bride. Here's the plan. 1. The trip is still on, but the context has shifted entirely. It's no longer about celebrating the bachelorette party. Instead, we're turning it into an opportunity for personal vacations with our partners. Given that we were somewhat strong-armed into this situation with the beachfront mansion and the airfare, we're determined to salvage what we can and enjoy the setting to the fullest. 2. Collectively, we've decided to withdraw our support for hosting and financing the bridal shower. It's now up to the bride to figure out an alternative path if she wishes to proceed with the event. Should it still happen, we'll attend in the capacity of guests only, without bringing gifts. This decision has notably infuriated the mother of the bride. There's more to unfold on that front. 3. We're confronting the bride with the necessity of canceling the Ice Swan trademark and reimbursing us. Further investigation has led us to doubt the legitimacy of the $7K expense purportedly for the Swan, as it seems improbable they cost that much. Before the last update, I will respond to interesting comment from you. Commentator: I would like to clarify if you are also responsible for covering the expenses of your dress, shoes, makeup, and hair in addition to the other costs. My answer: absolutely. It includes everything. This encompasses a dress that cost $350, which I have an entire separate post about due to a scandal, hair and makeup totaling $150 each, a $200 expense for shoes, and I still need to consider the cost of jewelry. Additionally, the bridal shower expenses are being divided among 11 girls, not to mention the contributions for the shower gift and the wedding gift from both me and my husband. Final update. Let's clarify one thing from the outset. The Ice Swan was a myth. It never existed. This entire charade was a smokescreen to divert attention from the actual whereabouts of the missing $7,000. As it turns out, there was a calculated motive behind my sister-in-law's choice of an extravagant bachelorette venue. Here's the sequence of events. All the bridesmaids arrived at the beachfront mansion with our partners, despite my sister-in-law being informed that it was no longer a traditional bachelorette party. To our astonishment, she was visibly shocked to see that we had taken her at her word. She made a dramatic entrance, last to arrive in a limousine she had booked in advance, infuriated that no one had joined her at the designated meeting point at the airport. She clung to the original plan when everyone else had moved on. Her surprise turned to disbelief upon seeing that the husbands and significant others were present. The situation bordered on farcical. We each settled into our own versions of a mini vacation until, about 48 hours later, we realized that no one had seen my sister-in-law. Assuming she was upset and had either flown back home or checked into another accommodation, we thought little of it until she made a startling reappearance. She arrived in a wheelchair, pushed by 2 nurses, prompting a whirlwind of concern from the group. We rushed to assist, but the nurses kept us at bay and escorted her into her room. Concern turned to confusion as we were left without answers, despite our persistent inquiries. I reached out to my brother and mother, but to no avail, so I turned to her mother, the bride's mother, who was already incensed by our takeover of the bachelorette party. She unveiled the truth. There was no illness, no accident. My sister-in-law had undergone breast augmentation surgery. Indeed, you read that correctly. Part of her original plan for the weekend included slipping away for surgery and returning with an enhanced bust. The choice of the beachfront mansion wasn't for its capacity to accommodate 11 guests, but rather for its proximity, merely 5 minutes, to a renowned cosmetic surgeon's office. The expansive property was intended to serve not just as lodging for us, but also to facilitate her post-surgery recovery, complete with nurses and a personal chef she had arranged for. This revelation opens a Pandora's box of questions. To what extent was her mother involved or aware? How much did the surgery cost? Presumably the missing $7,000. And why was it integrated into the bachelorette plans? What was the purpose behind fabricating the Ice Swan story? Will the bridesmaids, myself included, consider taking legal action? Where does this leave my brother? Is his fiancée mentally stable? Was this an elaborate plea for attention, a veiled insult towards the bridesmaids, or something else entirely? These questions loom large as I return from this bewildering trip, which I initially thought would be my final update on this saga. I want to extend my heartfelt thanks for your support, advice, and humor throughout this ordeal. This story has captured the attention of news outlets, podcasts, and magazines alike. It's been such an extraordinary experience that I'm tempted to write a book about it. However, to safeguard my brother's privacy, I must now step back from providing further updates. What do you think about this story? Write about it in the comments. Let's get 1,000 subscribers. Love you.